Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and you're with me Arun Sharma, and today I'm doing a continuation of the other series that we have, the top B schools and the criteria for B schools admissions. And FMS has released its 2020-24 criteria and weightages. So I can see that I'm live here today. So we are going to look at what are the key factors that FMS has talked about, and just waiting for people to enter and come in. I know I'm a little bit late post dinner session today. So the good news that FMS is, I guess you all know that FMS is one of the top B schools in the country. I'm A, I'm B, I'm C, FMS. You look at the placement statistics, you look at the companies that will come to select you, whether you're talking about consulting or finance or marketing or startups. You look at the kind of firms that will come in and recruit from there. You will see that it's almost the same, whether you go to IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, FMS or XLRI. You will get the same companies coming to you, and the biggest aspect about FMS is that the fees at FMS are just 48,000 per semester this year. So 2 lakh में तुम्हारा MBA हो जाता है. तो effectively almost in terms of savings, I mean, if you get a package of 20-25 lakhs, you will to save the 20-25 lakhs that you're going to spend at a IIM ABC or an Excel, to save that much amount, you're going to take at a 25 lakh package, you'll take 2-3 years. So effectively 2-3 years ahead in terms of your bank balances, at least if you get to FMS. So that is the reason everybody who has a serious chance at FMS will definitely apply to FMS. And this year FMS has released that they are basically looking at 251 seats in the sanctioned seats. So let's look at this. So 251 sanctioned seats, out of which the seats unreserved or the general seats are 101. The scheduled caste is 37, scheduled tribes is 19, OBCs is 69, and EWS के लिए 25 seats है. So that's obviously the general category, but economically weaker sections. So if you look at the total of this, it's 251 seats, and you can expect, and of course they also have 48 seats which are in what they call as supernumerary seats, which are for specific categories of people. So they have persons with PWD is 12 seats, that's separate. Children and widows is 12 seats. I think this is for defense personnel. And foreign students is 12 seats. So they have a foreign student quota. Ward quota teaching. So the teaching wards, the wards of the teaching staff is 6 seats, and non-teaching staff ward quota is 6. I think this is for Delhi University, right? So now to understand the cutoff, we need to understand this thing. Now let's assume that FMS, I was reading somewhere that the FMS will give calls to around 2,000 people, which means for around 300 seats, if they're calling for 2,000 people, that means they are looking at approximately 6 calls per seat, which means if you're talking about the unreserved general category, you're talking about 600 calls. And the good news, or the big news, specifically with those of you struggling with poor academic backgrounds because of your 10th, 12th, etc., the big news is in this screenshot, which I've put up here. And the big news here is that there is actually, for the shortlisting, there is no weightages to neither 10th, 12th nor graduation scores. So they are not looking at anything there. They're just looking at your CAT score. And the CAT score, the composite CAT score, weighted score of CAT, is calculated using the formula 0.4 into your verbal score plus 0.3 into your DILR score plus 0.3 into your quant score. This is the weighted average, the weighted CAT score that you will get. So if you look at where the advantages or what kind of students will give an advantage, first of all, of course, if you score high in CAT, you got a straight entry into FMS, both because of the weightage at, I mean, as I said, you are going to bypass everybody else with good academic backgrounds, but not such a great CAT score, because academic backgrounds is not getting considered at all. Of course, for women candidates, they are giving 5 marks extra. So whatever their weighted CAT score is, plus 5 will be for women candidates. So let's just take some scenarios. Let's just take some scenarios to understand this. So suppose there's somebody who scores a 45 in verbal, a 45 in verbal, a 40 in quants, and a 25 in DILR. Suppose let's say somebody scores 110 marks, will be at around 99.5 percentile, 99.5 percentile approximately. So iska score agar weighted CAT score lenge to into 0.4. So this is going to be 18, and this 65 is going to be into 0.3. So this is going to be 19.5. So his score will end up at 37.5 for FMS. Let's say somebody else is very strong in the strong suit is the quants part and the verbal is weak. So let's say somebody scores 30 in verbal and 35 in DILR, and let's say we equate the score to the same score overall 110. So he is scoring 45 in quants. तो ये 80 मार्क्स पे 0.3 से मल्टीप्लाई होगा 24, और इस 30 मार्क्स पे 0.4 से मल्टीप्लाई होगा तो 12, तो इसको 36 मार्क्स ही मिलेंगे. आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स 36, 37.5 दोनों आई थिंक both should qualify because this will be above, or both will get a call from this thing, because of course if you do very badly at one section and do pretty well at another section, I'm not sure, they have not mentioned any minimum criteria here, or maybe I have not seen the full document. The minimum criteria मेरे को दिखा नहीं, मैंने बहुत closely देखा भी नहीं उसको, but if they are just looking at this, then of course your score and verbal ability is going to count a little bit more. So it's going to give you 1.5 marks more on the same score. So suppose somebody gets only 100 score, and the 100 score is divided as 40 in verbal and 30 each in DILR and quants. तो यहाँ पे इसको 18 मार्क्स मिलेगा और यहाँ पे इसको 16 मार्क्स मिलेगा, तो 34 आएगा इसका weighted CAT score. So I think if you are above 35 plus in the general category, you should be fine in this context. ठीक है. The other in term, I think if you look at the other categories, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, OBCs, I think if you score above 97, 98 percentile in OBC, you should have a fair chance, because there's another factor that even in the final selection, your weighted CAT score has a 50% weightage. So what you score here is not just for your interview calls, it's also going to be important for your final selection. So I think, needless to say, I think even if you belong to the OBC or the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe categories, you will have to look at a case by case basis कि किसका कितना जाता है. But I would think that around 95-96 percentile पे OBCs को call आ सकता है इसमें, और so that means you score 90 plus, 85, 90 plus, 80, 85 plus in the overall score with of course if you do it with better verbal, you'll get better scores. And scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, of course, that will go much lower. You can expect calls at even 65-70 percentile if you're there. Or EWS ko bhi, I think, since there are only 25 seats, and EWS mein competition is fierce. And if you look at most B schools, you'll realize that OBC or EWS ka more or less the percentile is similar to each other. So I would expect a 95, 96, 97 percentile even for the EWS category. Because EWS category में 25 seats अगर हैं, तो they are only calling 150 people. So at a multiplication of 6. So what you need to remember is that when you are talking about 600 people in the general category approximately being called, remember this, that 99.9 percentile plus is taken by around 180 people. 1.8 lakh people give CAT. So 180 people are 99.9 percentile plus. So if you talk about 99.5 percentile plus, you have approximately 900 people here. So general category mein, I think 99.9, 99 plus 99. I've seen people at 99.2, 99.3 also getting calls in the past. So of course, I think there will be some division of, I mean, some people will get ruled out because they would get very high scores in one or two sections and not so high in the other. And of course, people who don't get good scores in verbal are already disadvantaged. So suppose somebody scores 17 quants and 40 in DLR, only 10 in verbal. So although he's got a 120 marks, 100 percentile in quants, but very poor at verbal. So although he's scoring 120 marks, he's only getting 4 here and 33 here. So he's only getting 37, which is lower than somebody who gets 110 marks on that. And of course, you will find people scoring 70 here will be difficult. So if somebody's got poor verbal and has got a 40 and 60 and 10 there, you will see that the score will end up at 33, 34, which will start falling below the borderline. The other factor in this is what once you are selected, and this is again good news, once you are selected for the GDPI, so broadly saying what I'm trying to tell you here is that mostly, I mean, if you look at Ahmedabad, if you don't have 10, 12 good scores, don't have above 80 percentage in 10th and 12th combined, they're not even going to look at you. Ahmedabad ko wo problem hai. Bangalore will give you will look at they'll give you very high weightage to your academics. Indore mein to aur zyada hai academics weightage. FMS is allowing you do well at the CAT and you come to us. So that's something which basically the differential, the factor here is that it gives everything, puts everything into your hands on your process of preparation and your D-Day performance. So that's one of the reasons why you should look at FMS in terms of this. Ravi is talking about bad profile. So bad profile hai to I'll do a series of 2-3 sessions, or I'll ask Arun Chaturvedi sir to do a series of 2-3 sessions on profile building, maybe sometime next week once the CAT is over. So this is the other big news, that once you are at the interview stage, at the GDPI stage, तो उसके बाद your selection process is built on the weighted CAT score 50%. So your selection process after the GDPI stage is 50% of your final score is your weighted CAT score. Marks obtained in class 10th is 10%. ये उन्होंने बढ़ा दिया, पहले 5% ही होता था 10th का और 12th का, लेकिन उसमें भी good news ये है कि if you got more than 75%, it's not like 76% है तो तुमको you are losing out a lot. Yeah, 75 से नीचे अगर है तो you will get only 5 marks. So the structure they have given is if you are 60 to 75, you get 5% marks. If you are 75 plus, you get 10% marks. So whether you are 75.01 or you are 99.8 in 10th, you get 10% marks. So it's giving you a big leeway to have underperformed in 10th. As far as it was still above 75, you're not losing out anything here. So these 10 marks, and then 12th the same thing. If you're 75 plus, unlike other B schools, they are not distinguishing between people who scored 75 or 12 scores, between art students and science students. तो वो एक maybe इनका error है in terms of this thing, and it's against the art students because obviously arts में scoring कम होता है, but otherwise 60 to 75 के बीच में भी हो तो 5 marks मिलेगा. तो basically if you have 75 plus in both on the second and third criteria, 10th and 12th, you're getting 10 marks and 10 marks here. So you are standing on 20 marks out of the 100, which is part of your final selection. And then you got an extempore. That's a very important part of this thing, 5% for extempore. And then there's a discussion on statement of purpose, which is 10%. So they want to know where we are heading to. So the statement of purpose writing is going to be very important. Make sure that you write it well. We'll take some sessions on how to do statement of purpose, etc. etc. here, and the personal interview is 15 marks. So even if you are losing out maybe 5 marks here or there in the second and third, as far as you've got a good CAT weighted score and you do well in this, so it's mostly in your hands. It's not based on your past, which I think is an unfair thing that Ahmedabad or Bangalore does, or even Indore does. But I mean, they are in a position to do it. तो करते हैं, तो we can't help it. In fact, हम लोग के बैच का, मेरे Bangalore बैच का बीच में alumni meet हुआ था. I mean, our batch was called to meet the director and some faculties. Of course, it was on Zoom a couple of months back. So in that this thing, when I got a chance to speak, I asked the director, why do you do this? And he actually did not reply in that meeting. But I think one of the justifications that I've heard is that somebody who's been not being able to manage his 10th and 12th or consistently academic performance अगर किसी ने दिया है, तो that has a greater predictor for longer term success than a one-off one-day exam where you do well. So they are rewarding that part there. But again, if you belong to those category of people who don't have that advantage of good 10th and 12th, do target FMS. Make sure that you break the 99.7 percentile barrier. It's not too difficult. मतलब ऐसे तो लगता है सुन के कि 99.7 बहुत difficult होना चाहिए. But I always tell people that don't focus on the percentile. When you're preparing for CAT, percentile के बारे में मत सोचो. Percentile के बारे में सोचो कि कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे लाइफ में. Think about the score you want to get. If you take care of your score, your percentile takes care of itself. And the basic thumb rule is you have to teach yourself कि 100 plus कैसे score करना है. This is your problem solving situation. How do I score 100 plus in the CAT? This is of course for CAT 21 aspirants. If you have of course finished off your preparation now. So तुम्हारा अगर आ रहा है इस level का तो ठीक है. But CAT 22 aspirants, you should look at it as a challenge. Ki this is a problem solving situation you are. Even a CAT 21 aspirant, suppose you are not getting what you are, the kind of scores you are looking in mock tests, ask yourself this question, ki I'm in a problem solving situation where I have to teach myself how to score 100 plus marks in this damn exam. And then I always ask people, if you think you can score 100 plus, why can't you score 110 plus? It's just 3 questions more from here to here. And this will give you a jump from 99 to 99.5. And if you can do 3 questions more from here, you end up at 120 plus and you are at 99.8 plus. And in that scenario, you kind of guaranteed your admissions into all top B schools, which allow you to take this thing. So this is what it is, FMS. So focus on what's in your hands. CAT 21 aspirants, तो अब तुम लोग को close करना चाहिए अपना पूरा process को. Or just understand that you need to be very clear about what you are playing for inside each section. और हर section में जब strategy जाओगे solve करने का, I'll take a session on this tomorrow, and do tell me what more you want me to do. So because as I've told you, it's a 90-day commitment from my side. That'll be live every day. And to execute that 90-day commitment, suppose I take my starting date as 20th November. So 20th February तक मेरे को everyday live आना है. So I need topics. So you tell me topics. From time to time I'll try to bring different series here which will help you out. Maybe I'll do a series on profile development immediately after CAT, 2-3 days. Maybe I'll do some personality development work also here. So this, anyway, coming back to what I was saying, was CAT 22 aspirants के लिए, the focus should be, look at it as a problem to be solved. How do I get 100 plus? Just like a CEO of a company thinks about, how do I get my sales to 2x in this territory? You have to try to think about, if I'm getting 50, 60, 70 in my mock tests, if I've reached that point, what do I need to do so that I can score 100? If you solve this problem, you suddenly move to the kind of B schools where everything that has been there in your past gets wiped out. I mean, I had a very average academic background throughout my school and college, and the day I reached IIM Bangalore by cracking the CAT and cracking that interview, the entire perspective of my life changed. And that's what I tell people. And that's my last message, winding up message for you today. Ki, no matter what you have done in your school and college, one great college, if you enter one great course, one great college towards the end of your educational career, before you hit your professional life, one great college, one great course, and your entire perspective, what you're expecting out of yourself in your life changes. So make sure that you give it everything to take that jump, right? And specifically at the post-graduation level, even if you did not get that jump at the graduation level, at the post-graduation level, you have to plan that jump, and that's why you should not compromise on the kind of college or the kind of brand you associate your name with. If I have to solve a problem, if the world is not opening up for me, I'll break the door down. That has to be the strategy, right? So if you're getting a 50, 60, 70s and it's getting frustrating for you, recalibrate, redecide, okay, I need to teach myself, how do I score? How do I do 10, 15 questions more? 5 questions per section more. Whatever I do during my preparation has to be to enable me to do those 5 questions more. So if you keep churning yourself inside and you keep going back to the portion, you can easily get there. Chalo, I have seen people with 25 percentile in 1 year getting to 98 percentile in the next. So it happens. It can happen for you also. So thank you so much for joining in. It's quite invigorating for me to see the growth of the channel happening. Please do share the videos and do share the channel, and do subscribe and do press the bell icon. I'll be live again tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll discuss about the D-Day, the strategies inside the CAT, what are the different scenarios that can happen inside the CAT for you, and hence how do you tackle it, and what state of mind you need to be in. Thank you so much. Bye bye everybody. Thank you.